And we worked out because literally we said, well, here's how much you earn. How many hours did you work? Right, divide one by the other. There you go. You're earning £8.50 an hour.
I think that was the final nail in the coffin, actually.
And then we went and had a look for jobs. And it was like, oh, you can get 10 quid at McDonald's. Hey everybody, it's John Lamerton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always it's our job to help you to design your business to deliver the lifestyle that you would like. So my guest today has done exactly that. She's designed her business to deliver the lifestyle that she wants. She's done that over the last 18 months. Sarah was previously an employee. She was a teacher for many, many years. And left the profession about 18 months ago, just before the COVID-19 pandemic. Great timing to walk out on the security of a job, and launched her business. But crucially, she launched it and designed it as an ambitious lifestyle business from day one. So she's also my wife, by the way, which is why we are here face to face, not social distancing or anything. We are in the same bubble. So welcome to the podcast, Sarah Lamerton.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Good. We've talked about this for a while, and I think I finally twisted your arm.
Yeah, it was a lot of twisting, wasn't it, for many years? Yeah.
Just talk us back there, because obviously you have been an employee for probably 20 years nearly, isn't it?
Almost, yeah. I keep saying I've been teaching for 20 years, and then I keep adding it back and thinking, no, it's not quite that long yet, but almost. So I qualified in 2003. And I've been teaching I had my first post in a school for a couple of terms, and then pretty much since then I've been teaching in the same primary school. So it was a long time in one place.
Yep.
Everybody felt like family, and yeah, for a long time I absolutely loved it, and I always said I wouldn't move unless it felt the right time to. So that's where it started, really.
You were very much in your comfort zone there, weren't you? It was you had the security blanket of, as you said, the great people you work with. You knew, you felt supported, you felt challenged there. You made a difference as well. That was really important to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've always been in it completely for the children, to make things better for them. There was a lot of my time when I was at school that I felt that I didn't understand things, and I didn't want children to feel the same way that I did. So predominantly everything I planned, everything I did, the way I taught was to make a difference in the children's lives. So I initially went into teaching with the thought that it would be within an inner city school. So I didn't want to be in the leafy suburbs. I didn't want to be in a school where everything was easy. That was my plan initially. Right, I qualify, I'm going into a tough school whereby that's where I can make the most difference. So I never looked for the easy option or the easy way, the easy road, I suppose.
Because I remember certain days you'd come home and you'd moan and you'd be like, oh my God, it's awful, it's terrible, this has happened. And
that's what I chose.
And of course I was incredibly supportive, and I think I just tried to do the man thing and just went, well, fine, leave then. Do something else. Go elsewhere. Take a job in the nice leafy suburbs. There's a job here. They've got class sizes of 18. They're out in the sticks. You'll be home. No planning till 10 p.m. at night. No working weekends. And your response was?
No, I think being stubborn, which you'll say, yes, that's true. No, I didn't want to take the easy way out. I wanted to stay, and I thought, no, I'm going to persevere. This is my job. This is what I'm going to do. So yeah, and I don't give up. I'm not. It's not in my nature to give up on anything. And I feel, it's I guess a sense of duty. That's my job. That's my role, and I want to do the very best I possibly can. So that's what I did, and for many years that was that was great, and I was able to progress to a certain degree up through the school. The more people knew me, the more people knew I was reliable, and let's ask Sarah, she gets the job done. And that was great because that had that sort of stepping stone. They reached a point at my last school where I thought I need a bit of extra challenge. You know, I'd progressed as far as I could. So to have that challenge, I became an SLE, a senior lead in education. So I went into different schools to support teachers and things, which gave me additional challenge. And I part of the School Direct programme that trained teachers for maths as well. So I went in and did that in Marjon, the College of St Mark and St John. And that, for a period of time, did give me that additional challenge, and I loved that role as well. But we had a change in head teacher, and I don't know, I just thought, here we go again, we're starting all over again with trying to prove yourself, and who am I doing it for? And that was the thing that, and I guess again, there were a lot of things within education that I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I'm not sure I really agree with that any longer. That's, and it started to grate, and I guess it grated for, such a period of time that I in the end, I thought, I'm not sure that this is quite what I went into. It's not what, I don't feel that I'm making the difference in the best way anymore. Yeah. Yes, I was still making a difference in the classroom, but I wanted to sort of impact change. I'd had a taste of impacting change, by training trainee teachers and supporting in other schools. And I guess I wanted a bit, I thought perhaps I wanted a bit more of a challenge in terms of the leadership role that wasn't available in the school I was in. So I guess with you saying to me in my ear, lots of times, why don't you start your own business? Why don't you run your own business? And I thought, when have I got time to do that? And I think as well, also in the back of my mind, I wanted something that fit exactly with our children, so that I could support them in, the best way possible. So when I had Jack and Harry, because I was one giving birth, that's when we had, but Jack I gave birth. So when we had Jack and Harry initially, I went part-time to be able to be there for part of the week at least, and had the best of both worlds for quite some time, until we got to the point almost 2 years ago, wasn't it now, where we decided that actually school wasn't the right place for either of them at that point. And it was it took me, you came round to that so much more quickly, didn't you, than I did. And it took quite a long time, because the way I saw it, I'm a teacher, so therefore I teach in a school, and that's how school is. That's how children go to school, and that's what happens. It took me a long time to come around to the idea that actually there are other ways of doing this. We don't have to we don't have to be the square, we can be square pegs, can't we? Yes. We don't have to fit that round hole nice and neatly, and it's okay for that to happen. And that bit has always sat well with me, in terms of, I've always treated children and taught them and thought, you're an individual, and I celebrate that, and that's okay. It doesn't matter if you learn in a different way. I'm the one who will adapt to support you to do that. So actually that's not a new concept for me. That's something that I've spent my entire career sort of promoting and, actually being pretty good at, I suppose. But in terms of my own life, and, it took me a long time to come round to that, didn't it?
Yeah. Whereas I just kind of went, well, you're a teacher, so therefore
Adapt.
You can customise the curriculum for our children, as opposed to the one size fits all, move as fast as the slowest child. Just because we have both sides of it. We've got obviously one child's kind of got severe visual impairment, so lots of challenges there. The other one was kind of almost being held back by, they were both being held back by school, because one they just were not challenged enough
and failed,
and one they were. The school thought that they were not capable of things that they were capable of, and they were also pushing in ways that they shouldn't have been pushing in terms of the health needs. Yeah. To the point whereby they were feeling sick every day and having stomach aches every day and breaking their arm on the last day of school. But it was, in my mind, well, we can do custom education. So 2 years ago, as you said, we took both kids out of full-time education and decided we were going to homeschool them, we were going to share the responsibilities there.
Remember, my initial plan was I'm still going to continue in my part-time role in a school, and I'm going to just teach as well and do all of that.
Yeah, just do more. It's easy.
Jeez.
So that led to you, and obviously we talk about on this podcast a lot about designing the ambitious lifestyle business, to design the business to deliver the lifestyle that we want, which obviously I've done for, 12 years now, 12, 13 years. As an employee, though, I think you designed your ambitious lifestyle employment to suit the lifestyle. Because again, you wanted to work part-time, you wanted to homeschool, you wanted to have nice holidays, you wanted to have time, quality time with the children, and not spend every weekend planning and finding resources and all the wonderful things like that. Marking.
Even being a part-time employee, I did full-time hours in a week. So even though I was home on my days that I wasn't working, I still worked every evening and I still worked at the weekends. So it still wasn't quite how I would have liked it to have been. It made that big shift I started to make the shift, didn't I? I tentatively sort of started to do a few sessions on the days I wasn't working to just trial it, dip my toe in the water a bit and see, could this actually work? Would people... I think my biggest thing was having been an employee, I value what I can give to people. The children valued it, teachers value it, but I wasn't convinced, and I don't know why, but I wasn't convinced that parents would value it as well. It was like, who's going to pay for me to teach their child maths or or anything else? It's like, do people actually pay for that? Will they pay enough? And I mean, initially when I first set my prices and things, it's a bit embarrassing now, really, isn't it?
Come on, let's go.
So initially I was like, well, okay, £10 a session would probably be okay, wouldn't it? Yeah, no, that doesn't...
Apart from for home-educated children, we'll give them a discount, yeah?
No, everybody... at that price, it was the same...
Sure, I thought it was a £5 rate for some people.
I don't remember now.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. So, moving swiftly on from that, because evidently that was entirely wrong, but my mindset was still in an employed... do you know what I mean? An employed... state of mind. I hadn't made that shift yet to everything else that goes with that, the time that I take to plan, the time that there is to run the business, to do the accounts, to because running your own business, you have to be all of those things unless you employ people, which I don't. So all those hats are me. So I had lots of times that you didn't know where we sat down and you were trying to explain, and we thrashed out, didn't we, all the different roles and things I would have to think about. And I did initially think about going into business with another teacher friend of mine, but in the end, when I started to sort of drill down on how much I would be happy to charge for lessons and things, it was a lot more than the £10 then, but once I got to that point. But actually looking at that and where you take off and then pay tax and all those things, it wasn't enough money coming in then to be a lifestyle business and to pay the two of us. So I decided, okay, let me just do this by myself, and I'll just make it what I want it to be. So at that point we were going to be homeschooling the two of them, and I was very conscious that I would need to teach two different year groups in the same year, and actually that's 2 full-time jobs. So 2 full-time jobs plus the running of your own business, actually 3 full-time jobs in the first year of business was just like, and I think, well, I guess that probably, we decided before the September start that yes, that's what we were going to do. We'd handed in the letter, and then I think I had a bit of a panic and like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. So I actually, and I was still going to be at that point, I think I hadn't decided to leave school, had I? So I was
You were still on secondment officially, weren't you? Not secondment,
no.
Sabbatical.
So back in the September, I had a meltdown, didn't I? Thinking about doing the homeschooling and still working. So took a sabbatical. Then I made the decision, actually, I don't think I want to go back. I've moved past that point. I don't think having
You needed that safety net though, didn't you?
I did to start off with,
sort of saying at the time, you don't need it, you'll be fine. You're like,
but what if?
And so what if you'll find another job? You've got a CV with 20 years experience, you've got this SLE experience, you've got all the schools award that you've done, and all the exchanges. It's like brilliant, but that safety net made all the difference. And although you ultimately didn't need the safety net, you did need the safety net to give you the confidence to go ahead and do it. And
the boost, the push, the final push, wasn't it, to go. So I sort of invested quite heavily in myself in that first proper 12 months. I felt like I needed to know more to be able to run my own business. So, running your own business, I need to do some advertising. Okay, wait a minute, I don't know anything about advertising. I don't know how to write a post that's going to get people to read it. I have no idea what social media platform I need to be on, or anything about how to write emails, or you advised me to
weekly emails,
and so I set up an account. But I was like, now I've got to think of things to write every week, and I have to post. Somebody suggested to me, a friend said, you need to be on LinkedIn. That's a business platform. That's where you need to be. It's like, great, I don't know anything about LinkedIn. So I looked for a course. I found Helen Pritchard at the time. So I thought, okay, well, let's invest in myself. I've got some money coming in already. So that'll pay for that. So I did her course. So I learned quite a bit quite quickly about ideal client, and posting at least four times a day, every single day, including the weekends. Yes. And so though I did do that for 8 months, I think. So I did, I did do that, and I did boost, and I did some, I had a call with Danny, and he taught me through how to set up Facebook ads, to do an ad, and I ran a couple of ads. The first one I did went really well. The second and third was rubbish. So I think for me, Facebook ads felt a bit hit and miss, and I wholeheartedly hold my hands up and say that's because I don't really know what I'm doing with it, and I would need to invest a lot more of my time in that. But actually, all of a sudden, I was posting. I'd set up a Facebook group. I'd set up a Facebook page, and in posting, I did have people coming to me asking for tuition. So I did fill my hours. So I decided from the very beginning, these are the hours I can commit to and say, that's what I'm going to do. So daddy daycare, actually, you had times with 2 mornings a week, didn't you, with both of them? So on those 2 mornings, I thought that's fine. I know I've got that time. I can work on my business. So that wasn't my planning time or anything. That was me advertising myself and learning. Loads of learning went on in that first 12 months in terms of social media and just content things as well. So I didn't really know the different types of content or, Do you want
to tell the listeners what your Christmas present was? That first year.
It was brilliant. I had like 7 books, didn't I, to read? I've still got a few left to read, actually. But
pile like that one.
Yeah, amazing.
None of which are allowed on these shelves behind us.
No, they're mine. They're my books. So, yes, John's been and you bought a couple of them again, didn't you?
Yeah,
so they
exactly.
could go on your
one
shelf.
thing down there, I was not allowed to have a copy of the one thing.
It's mine. So loads and loads of learning went on in that first 12 months. And I began to, I guess, I started in the second year, I filled my time. So after school, I gave my time to our 2 children during the school day, which meant that where do I fit and where does my business work go? So when do I tutor? So that was going to be after school time. I also set up tapped into the home ed group that we've got in Plymouth, and set up a few groups so that, because I needed to find ways for our 2 to still socialise and mix with other children as well. So if I set up and ran, I could get paid and the children benefited because they were taught, but also with other children as well. So it was a real win-win. It was a great job, great profession to be in if you're going to homeschool your own children. So that worked well for the first 12 months. I felt like it was a little bit of a conveyor belt, I guess, homeschooling 2 of them, because it was like one lesson after the other and, to just get through. But Jack's in secondary school now, so it's just Harry being homeschooled. So that's one less. So things feel slightly easier now in terms of time-wise. And Harry also goes, to an independent school on 1.5 days a week. So that sort of that fits in nicely and still gives me that time to work on my business as well. I guess I've also found as time went on, I felt like I slipped into that mindset slightly of being employed again, in terms of I began to feel the hustle a bit. Yeah. I was putting pressure on myself. I must get this done. I've signed up for this. I have to get this done. You know, here's my 90-day goals. It's on my 90-day goals. I have to do it. But actually, I did find that, okay, that's not necessarily where it needs to go. So I sat back one day and just thought to myself, I've fallen into that same trap of, you know, writing a to-do list almost, and let's just get it done, get it ticked off.
Let's go bigger, let's go better.
Yeah, big. And I was growing, and so I've got all these ideas for, okay, I could do a subscription, and I can build it so that I'm not the person in it all the time. And once I build this evergreen asset, there you go. Yeah. Once I build this evergreen asset, that sets me up a bit more, and I can get out to more people, which is great. But now I've discovered, actually, I can put that on my could-do list. I don't have to have it. That doesn't have to be done right now. Right now, my focus is Harry. And I think the more I went through and felt hustled to get things done, I just put that pressure on myself. And it occurred to me, and I thought, well, why am I doing that? Yeah. Who owns this business? Oh, yes, that would be me. I own the business. Who sets the targets of where it's going to go? Oh, yeah, that would be me. So where's what are the priorities? Priority is Harry, in terms of that's why I'm doing this, essentially. That's why I made that change, and why I set the business up, essentially, to work so that I could homeschool Harry.
We could homeschool Harry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking you do, but I'm thinking of the days when I do it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I left my job, so I could play a part in homeschooling Harry. But I began to feel that sort of hustle again, in terms of, and the added pressure of having to be at a certain level. It has to be. I have to keep moving forwards. I have to keep growing it, and it needs to be bigger. And why? It's like, it's just like one day I was like, why? Why do I need to do that? Oh, okay, that takes the pressure off a little bit. Actually, let's just rein it in for a minute. It's okay for me to say, I'm going to stop now. I've filled my hours. I'm earning enough money. It may not be much to some people. Some people might be, I have to earn X amount. That's fine. That's not me. I don't, I'm in a lucky position that I have you,
on tap.
So, we are in a lucky position. Your business is well established and has been for years. And so you've got that income coming in. And I'm lucky enough that I don't feel the pressure and the need. There's the two of us. I don't have to earn a X amount. What I earn supplements things and gives it additional things. So, that put me in a really, I feel really, grateful for that position, really, because that means I could take the pressure off, and I can say, do you know what? All those subscription things and everything that I'm thinking, yeah, they're great ideas. I don't have to do that right now. I can do that when Harry, the plan is Harry will go to secondary school. So I can do that in a couple of years' time. That's on my could-do list now. Yeah. So I've taken the pressure off. I've taken my foot off the gas, and I'm just enjoying doing what I love, which is teaching. Yeah. And I've been able to, really niche down and say, not niche, I've been able to niche down and say...
we do have American listeners.
Oh, do we? But it's not niche. It's niche. I've been able to niche down and say, do you know what? The bit I love about teaching the most is teaching maths. I hated it as a child, and I've grown to love it. I was part of the Plymouth Maths Hub, and I think my skills, I really honed in the last sort of 6, 8, 7 years now. I've really honed in and attended so much training, and I've got a real skill set with helping children develop their skills in maths, and I've wanted to continue that. So I thought, hey, I don't have to tutor English. I don't have to do, I don't have to do anything any longer. So let's do what I enjoy doing. So I enjoy doing that. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm thinking about the journey that you've kind of been on. Again, it's a very, very accelerated journey. Most people don't get to where you are within 18 months of starting. They don't start a business, establish the business, get to the point whereby the business is starting to get too big, realise that, stop, go back and literally optimise the business to get exactly where they want to. Most people take probably 4 or 5 years to get to that point. You've had an accelerated version of that. And I think, without taking too much credit, that's because I've been in your ear every step of the way. And it's almost like I've been that kind of guardrail, just going, whoa, hang on a minute. No. You're going down a tangent here that you probably shouldn't be. And I'm just looking around the office now. So I've got painted on my walls the 5 magic ingredients from Big Ideas for Small Businesses. Goals, desire, knowledge, environment, action. I always get knowledge and environment. I always get them the wrong way around. But if I think about that, you've followed that structure over these last 18 months. So you had the very clear goal of homeschooling Harry, basically replacing your employment income. That was the goal. The desire to do that was intense because this is your children that you're talking about. And it was that strong desire not to go back because it got to the point whereby you were at a breaking point with employment. It's like, and I know you're a big fan of the Lethal Weapon films, but you were getting too old for this shit.
I love it. I keep saying that now.
So you've got the goals nailed. You've got desire absolutely nailed. Knowledge, oh shit, you don't know anything. So let's get a pile of books. Let's join the 1% Club. Let's join Helen Pritchard's course. Let's sign up for Valder Albuquerque's emails and Perry Marshall's emails.
Yeah, I still read those. Strategic Profits.
Chris Cardell's. And you just suddenly, and again, this leads into environment, you suddenly surrounded yourself with experts, business coaches, mentors, other business owners, other tutors, other people who had done what you wanted to do. So you crafted your environment and then you took action. And that's it. That's all you needed to do.
Yeah. It was a lot in 18 months, really, wasn't it?
It is. And that's why I wanted to speak to you.
I've worked hard.
That's why I wanted to speak to you today, because you are an exception there, because most people do not go on this journey over that short a period of time.
No. I think you are right. Don't get too big ahead here, but I do think you're right. If you had created that, you spent, how long have you been in business? 21 years now?
Yeah, 21 years now.
21 years. So you've sort of been through that journey, and I've watched that all the way through. I've seen the hustle of starting a business.
You've let me make the mistakes, haven't you? That's
exactly.
what you're saying.
I waited long enough to let you do all that first. So I've seen that. I had the benefit of your experience. And I have to say, in the last few years where you've crafted a lifestyle, more of a lifestyle business, there have been times where I've come home, felt the hustle from work, employed life, and have been like, God, I wish I had I wish I ran my own business. I wish I did that. Yeah. It's never been the teaching that I've disliked. I've always loved teaching. I've always loved being, with the children and what they bring and watching them grow and helping them to develop their confidence. That is absolutely me. That's, that still for me is the one of the biggest draws to the profession, to being a teacher, but yeah, as time went on, it just became increasingly more clear. I just thought, I just can't stay in this hustle anymore. I just need to, let me out. and I was so supportive of that. I was just like, I can't say this, so why don't you then? Why don't you start your own business? I think the comments increased, didn't they? As the more you could see, oh, she's like at tipping point here. Yeah. Just need to. So every night it was like, well, you can leave, No, I can't. I can't. I have to keep going. Well, why? And I think the why sort of crept in there more and more, didn't they? And I think, again, your responses changed from, no, it's not that bad. No, I love it. No, I really want it. No, I've just had a bad day, to, well, what would that look like? Could I do that? And it all of a sudden I could see that you were actually considering it, as opposed to, no, I'm just venting. Yeah. Yes, there was definitely a tipping point, wasn't there? But so we always ask this question. I know we've touched on it a few times today, but what would you say an ambitious lifestyle business looks like for you? Oh God, can I pinch your phrase? It's ingrained now. All these things
you can
are
paraphrase
ingrained.
it if you like.
So it has to be, I still feel I need to be challenged.
Yeah.
So it has to be something that challenges me. It has to, I'll put it into my own words, shall I? It has to fit into my time frame, my scale of things. So it has to be when I want to do it.
Yeah.
And actually, part of the thing is, one of the things that really irritated me being in a school was the fact that I knew the best way of doing it. I know that sounds really cocky. I don't mean it to sound like that, but you know, with a lot of training, the head teachers don't, you know, in the SLT team, they've not been on all the training I've been on. So, you know, I can see, but I had to run it past so many different people. Actually running my own business, I'm like, that, I know that bit will work the best for that child. Okay, great, go ahead and do it, because I'm the one making the decisions. So, you know, I can use my knowledge in the best way possible to help the children. You know, I don't have to jump hoops and all the rest of it. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want, if I want. So I'm going to say it just like that because you've put it so succinctly, you know.
Yeah, I think what you've created, you've got that sweet spot whereby you're being challenged professionally.
Yeah.
So you can still grow. You're making a difference. That's very important to you. But it's not your life. You know, I remember when you were at school, it was very much your life. It's like, I've got to get this marking done.
Yeah.
I've got to get this planning done, which means there is no weekend. No, we can't go out. And what you've designed now enables you to have date days with us, to go and do stuff with the kids, to help Jack with his homework on a Thursday afternoon, to spend time with your mum, to, I don't know, binge watch Netflix at the weekend, and to actually down tools at the weekend.
Yeah.
And so actually, what's important to me now is not so much what I can achieve, because yes, you could take this business and you could grow it 4 or 5 times in terms of the revenue. And this is where I think, again, your environment has probably tempted you to do that, because if you have got Perry Marshall, Chris Cardell, 1% Club in your ear all the time, we're constantly giving you stuff you could do. And it's like, why don't you do this? This could grow your business. If you did this, you could add a new revenue stream. If you did this, you could get more customers. And sometimes you need to have that, yes, I could, but it's not for me, or it's not for me right now. Yeah.
I think that's where I got to, isn't it? It's suddenly realising I don't need to do that right now. So I've got all these things on my 90-day goals, and I was sort of holding back. And I think part of me was thinking, it was this battle. Should I be going further? Should I be pushing myself? I've always been really driven to achieve and to do better and make things better. But actually, right now, I had to set my priorities, and maybe that was better, setting the priorities. What am I actually trying to do right now? What's the biggest priority? Yeah. And that's not actually to grow a business right now.
No. And I think what you're doing now is what we talked about in the 1% Club. It's not. When you start with a brand new business, you have to grow the business. You have to get customers in. You have to get revenue. You have to meet payroll. Once you get to that point, you no longer need to grow the business. You need to improve the business. So I think we talked at the very beginning. Do you remember when you were? This might have been the tipping point. Do you remember a conversation just before you quit, where we worked out your hourly wage?
Yes, that was insane, wasn't it? Hourly wage for a teacher was less than McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's like, God, I could go to McDonald's and work and leave the work at McDonald's and get paid more. Yeah. That was insane.
Because of course, your hourly rate was officially a lot higher than that, but you were doing, as I called it at the time, lots of voluntary work.
Yeah, I hated you saying that.
As you said, you were part time. What were you contracted to? 26 hours a week or something?
No, less than that, wasn't it?
But you were doing 50, 60 hours
3
a week?
days a week. So that's 6.
You were leaving the home at 7 a.m.
18.
Getting home at 7
I was
p.m.
probably contracted to 18, maybe 20 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. And probably
I was doing more than 60, probably some weeks, wasn't I?
Yeah. And we worked out because literally we said, well, here's how much you earn. How many hours did you work? Well, divide one by the other. There you go. You're earning £8.50 an hour.
I think that was the final nail in the coffin, actually.
And then we went and had a look for jobs. It was like, oh, you can get 10 quid at McDonald's. But we still use that same analogy now. So actually, you've got to the point now whereby you've got your revenue. You're quite happy with that. So what we can now do is tweak your hourly rate again by keeping your income levels the same, but reducing the hours that you're needed. So you've started investing in things like extra resources, systems, processes, so that instead of planning taking 4 hours, it takes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Your income stays the same, therefore your hourly rate goes up, and you're now area manager at McDonald's.
Boom. Yeah, no, I mean that. Yeah, so there have been improvements, haven't there? So it's not just that I'm standing still and stopping, but like as you say, I can improve on what I've already got and make it a better plan. My biggest thing at the minute is saying no now, isn't it? Yeah. That's the next thing I need to do, self-improvement wise, is to start saying, actually, you can't help everybody in the world. Yeah. You need to draw the line.
It is. What was one of the books I bought you at Christmas? I think it was Oversubscribed.
Yeah.
Daniel Priestley.
Yeah.
And you are now at the point where you're oversubscribed.
Yeah.
But still trying to fit them in.
I keep looking at the timetable and saying, I'm sure I can fit somebody else in there.
Doors are closed. Doors are shut. We're full.
Yes.
Cool.
So we'll see.
Any final words of wisdom for the listeners? Bearing in mind that obviously lots of people are at different stages of their business. You may have people who are considering leaving full-time employment. You may have people who are in that growth stage. You may have people who are past the, oh, crikey, I've grown this business too big stage. So what would be, from your 18 months of business experience, what would be the one thing that you'd say, actually, that was the difference maker for me?
The biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think, I could nick Nike saying, just do it. And, I think if you're worried about making that leap, and I really was worried about making that leap and whether things would be okay, but I think that's probably taken me the longest to sort of be okay with and think, yes, it definitely will be okay. People come and go, things change, but that's okay. Just keep doing what you're doing,
I think, again, thinking about the magic ingredients that are printed on my walls, the word action is in red letters, and that's what you've done. You've just done it. And that's not, I know the hustle brigade will kind of jump on that and say, just do it, just add more stuff. But actually, you've felt the fear of, ooh, can I put myself out there? And you've done stuff that hasn't worked. We've all walked the streets delivering leaflets for you that we spent ages writing the copy for. We had photos done, we got them printed up, we've gone out walking the streets, didn't bring in a single client.
No.
You've done Facebook ads that worked, Facebook ads that didn't work. But at no point, and this is where a lot of business owners, they feel the fear of, well, what could happen? Well, let's do it and find out. And all business success, and certainly for me over 21 years, is based on what could happen. Well, there's only one way to find out. Do it.
I think I'd say, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
Because what's the worst that can happen? Oh, it might just go belly up. Okay, well then you move on. So I think I've asked myself that question a lot. I keep saying it to Jack now. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to think. And the other thing is, what's your one thing? And I think having lots of things to do can be quite overwhelming, particularly when you're starting up a business. So picking out that one thing that's the most important thing that's going to either drive it or get you to the place you want to be, that would be the thing. Yeah. Pick out your one thing. You need to narrow it down and niche or,
Which is why I've got a copy of the one thing on my shelf and you've got a copy of the one thing on your shelf.
Yeah.
So you're one of quite a small group, because you are one of a few people who get free access
Don't tell everybody.
To the 1% Club.
They'll all want to marry you.
So not only do you get, but you're in an even smaller group, because not only do you get free access to the 1% Club, you have to be married to me. That's the only condition that you do get free membership. But you're part of an even smaller group that has free access to 1% Club and has used it? Because in the past we found that when we give people free access, it's free, so they don't do anything with it. You've been the complete opposite of that. So how has the 1% Club helped you over these last 18 months?
Well, in many ways. So I think running your own business can be a really lonely place to be at times, particularly if you're a one-man band. So it's been a place to go. If I've had a question to ask, if I'm not sure how to do something, I can put that in the group. The coaching calls have been brilliant. I can't always attend them because quite a bit of the time I'm teaching, but I do try to attend the ones that I can get to because they are so useful. Even if it's not something that I'm thinking I'm doing that right now, I'm tapping in and thinking, right, make a mental note of that for later on, because when I come to do that, then that's going to be a great thing to help me out. So having that knowledge, and actually there's so many people, so many different experiences within the 1% Club. It's not like, it's not a coaching group specifically for nurses, or do you know what I mean? It's not a coaching group specific. It's not niche. I'll keep using that word, niche. It's not niche down to, to exclude people. There's such a wealth of experience in the 1% Club, and people coming from lots of different backgrounds, lots of places across the world as well. So, it's not just one way of looking at things. People, some people, even as I came in as at the very beginning, I sat, on the call and I may not have commented or said anything, but I typed in the chat box and was like, hey, I know the answer to that. I can give, I can offer something, an idea on that. And, everybody's, it's a really good environment. It's got a really good ethos and a good feel about it, to use whatever anybody can offer. And I think that's really great as somebody starting out, but actually also somebody trying to continue as well, to make improvements. And that experience, having that support there, I think that was one of the things I feared, I guess, most when I left school. Was like, at school I've got a wealth of people behind me that if I need something I can go and ask. This was quite different. This felt like, oh my God, I'm going out, I'm going to be completely on my own.
Yep.
Actually, no, I'm not completely on my own, because there are lots of people within that group who are always happy to lend a hand. Steve gave me a hand the other week, a few weeks ago with QuickBooks and things, and Michelle's given me a great, she's given me access to that and helped me get started. Emily gave me, some help with my email, G Suite and what have you. It's been brilliant. There's always somebody there who will give you an answer and give you and if you're having a rubbishy day where you're, crappy day, where you're thinking, I just feel naff today, there's always somebody there to give you a pick up and, be behind you. It's such a supportive network. And I think, that's been the most value, I think. Having those people there, having that network and knowing you have somewhere to go. Yeah,
it is. It's funny because we get a lot of people when they first come into the club struggle to get the ideas, get the inspiration from people outside of their industry, outside of their sector. They're like, I'm a lawyer. How am I going to learn things from a gardener? Well, most businesses share a common DNA. Probably 98% of most businesses have almost identical DNA. And then there's the little bits that are different, that is specific to your sector, the words you use, the customers you've got. But ultimately, most businesses work pretty much the same way. We all need to get customers. We all need to fulfill those customers' needs. We all need to do the admin that makes it work, and we all need to turn one customer into 1.2.
Do you know what though? I always think, never underestimate the value that somebody who doesn't work in your sector can bring you. You might have this problem that you can't solve yourself, and the people around you can't within that sector, but they might come at it from a different angle that just could solve things in a completely different way that you've not even considered, So I think that's the beauty of it, really. Yeah,
because they haven't got the curse of knowledge of, we've always done it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Never underestimate what others can bring.
Definitely. Fantastic. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, Sarah, how is the best way they can do that?
sarah@teachmychild.co.uk. You can email me or message me. I'm on Facebook.
And LinkedIn.
And I'm on LinkedIn, yes, of course. Get in touch on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That was all right.
Yeah, we didn't even fall out.
No, why would we? We don't ever fall out.
I was expecting a Barney, We have a domestic live on the podcast.
That should be included, shouldn't it, on the end?
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure you'll put it in there, won't you, Lee?
Oh, dear.
Oh, there we go. So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.